talks about ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and the door's going to be open to you. And so that's three different seasons. I look at that as of receiving from God. There's times where you just ask and boom, he gives it to you. You just receive it, and you can just keep on working, keep doing what you're doing. For instance, you might be, if you were a carpenter and you were kneeling down and hammering some nails, you run out of nails, you just have to put your hand up and say, hey, give me some more nails. And if you have a good helper there, he'll just put the nails in your hand, and you can just stay in your squatting position and continue to work and continue to get done what you're getting done. When you're in those seasons of receiving, where it seems like as soon as you ask the Lord for something, boom, you're seeing the results of it, then just stay doing what you're doing, keep getting a lot of things done. That's a receiving season of asking, just ask and receive. And when you are, don't feel guilty about that. Just keep on receiving from the Lord and keep rolling with it. And you can really get a lot done for the Lord during those times. But then there's other times where he wants to move us around a little bit. And so instead of just asking for it, then you have to get up and go seek, and you got to look around. And so that's times in our lives where he puts us in a transition mode, where you got to move from where you are to somewhere else. And so that's why we really have to follow the Lord and say, okay, God, where are you trying to move me to? What do you need me to do here so that I can get this prayer answered, so I can get these things done? And so that's a seeking season. And those are times where the Lord is moving us around. He has us in transition. And so be aware of that. But then there are the other seasons. That's the knocking seasons. And when we're in a knocking season, that's the seasons that require the most patience, because then all you can do is stand at the door and knock, and then you have to wait for somebody to open the door. You have to wait for the Lord to open the door and to answer those prayers. And those can take time. It can take days, weeks, months, unfortunately sometimes even years. But those are the times where God is really pressing us and shaping us and molding us into something better. So don't get resentful, and don't lose your faith or your patience when you have something you've been praying for a long, long time. Just know that particular situation resides in a knocking season. That's the climate that's in, because for that situation, God is, the purpose of that is he is shaping you and molding you in a deeper way. Now, what you have to do when you're in a knocking season, it requires a lot of patience. And we're going to pray here in just a moment. And there might be some things you've been praying for a long time, and you've been waiting for the Lord to answer. Listen, don't give up on those things. Those things take patience. Now, patience comes from two places. It comes from faith, and it comes from hope. Okay? Faith is from the past, and hope is in the future. And so when we live in the present, we're standing at the door now and knocking. That's in the present. But our faith comes from the past. It's from the Word of God we've learned. It's from our past experiences with the Lord. Every time we've seen God answer prayers before, every time we've seen the Lord move in our lives before, we draw faith from that. And so sometimes we look back at the past and we renew our faith. And other times we're looking towards the future. And we just know God's going to open doors. We know God's going to change some things. We know the Lord's going to come through in a big way. And then so by traveling in our minds to the future of what we know the Lord's going to do, that restores our hope. Now, we have some seniors on the call. And before I pray, I want to speak to my seniors here for a moment. Listen to me. One of the biggest deceptions that the enemy tells you, one of the biggest lies that he'll tell you, is that your best days are behind you. Your best days are not behind you. As long as there's breath in your lungs and you're walking with the Lord, he's still shaping you, he's still molding you, he's still making you better and more valuable. And your best days are not behind you. Your best days are still ahead of you. And so you can have hope. You can draw from hope in that and saying, Lord, who am I going to influence in this stage of my life? Who can I bring to the Lord? Because you are more powerful and you are more valuable in the hands of God than you've ever been before. Oh, maybe your body can't do the things it used to do, and maybe your memory is not as sharp as it used to be. But let me tell you something. In the hands of God, you are more valuable than you've ever been. And for the things of the Lord, you have more value than you've ever had before. So don't believe the nonsense that your best days are behind you. You don't have to just live in the past. You can hope for the future and for what the Lord is going to do through you.